Hi, welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name's Wendy Gathercole. I'm your host, and today it is June the 3rd. We're nearly halfway through the year. Hopefully, your year is going well so far. Today, I'd like to talk about sleep deprivation and other things that we can do besides taking sleeping pills, if that's what you're taking at the moment. But if that's working for you, then that's cool. Okay, so I know people are on sleeping pills, and I know certain people are on sleeping pills um, personally, and I know in general people take sleeping pills because they need to sleep and they get told to take them. Now, the funny thing is the side effect. Well, it's not really funny, it's quite serious actually. The side effect of sleeping pills is more insomnia. Now, maybe it's not a side effect of your sleeping pill. Maybe if you're taking them and you're not sleeping, then I would suggest you look at the side effects and see what's going on there. So today I would like to share with you some other things in life that we can do to assist in our sleeping besides taking medication that may not be working as well as you may like. And also just bear in mind that medication is really a short-term solution to possibly a long-term problem. And many of you listening may have already changed the dosage of your sleeping pills, or you may have changed brands of sleeping pills, and you're still not getting any joy. So again, I would suggest looking at the side effects of those sleeping pills. And with anything in life in general, if what you're doing is not working, is not changing anything at all, then try something different. Okay, so what can we do to assist with our sleep? Now, I was doing a podcast, I think a little while ago, and I said that I wasn't sleeping too well. And because there's been a long time between that podcast and today, I'm trying to rack my brain. I think it's because where our current living situations, well, not currently, but prior to today, it is a very noisy location. It's not really ideal. I'm living in a slide-on camper in a noisy area, so it's not really soundproof at all. And so our sleep's been disrupted. Now, I'm an advocate for having good quality sleep for your well-being, which is why I have a little bit of a joke when, we look at the hospital system when you get woken up every 3 hours to get observations, and, there's so much noise and carrying on that you don't get a decent night's sleep. So how on earth are you going to get well? So sleeping is paramount for your well-being. Now, in saying that, we don't all get fabulous night's sleeps all night, every night. And typically as we get older, and not an excuse, it's just a reason that we may get less uh, quality, well, less long-term quality sleeping, perhaps, depending on what we're doing. Now, everybody is different. Again, we have also many differences in what we do in our daily lives. And also our shift workers out there. One of my boys is a shift worker, and his quality of sleep is not so good because it's not the same shift either. It's all over the shop. So, you would expect not to have the best quality sleep, but some ways that we can implement into our daily lives to get it a little bit better are, and you're going to love these, to avoid caffeine. Now, many of you, I've heard it before, and I was even one of these people that used to say caffeine doesn't affect my sleep. So I'd have a coffee at night, like years ago, I'd have a coffee at night and I'd go to sleep. But it was the quality of the sleep. So it would take me a little while to go to sleep, and then I would sleep, but I'd wake up tired in the morning. So this went on for years, because I used to say it didn't affect my sleeping. And then one day I decided to stop drinking the coffee, and then I realized how much better my quality of sleep was. So caffeine is a no-go zone, really. And if you're thinking, oh, is tea okay? Well, no, it's still got caffeine in it. If you're really serious about getting a better night's sleep, then you need to avoid all the things that are going to limit your sleeping capability. So caffeine is one of them, and it's all caffeine. It's not just coffee. And, sometimes you might be able to have a coffee or a tea or caffeine, whatever, at, 12 o'clock, midday, and you may be able to sleep really well. Or you may be able to have a cut-off point at 2 o'clock. I know some people have cut-off points where they have where they don't have their coffee and then they have a good night's sleep. But if you're a person that is having crappy sleep and for a long time, I would avoid it altogether. So it just depends on what you really want to do. If you want to try and have a better night's sleep, if you've been wanting to do it for a long time, then avoid it. But if you're really going, oh, well, doesn't really impact me that much, well then have your caffeine. Alcohol's another one that can impact your sleep as well. You might think, oh yeah, but it makes me go to sleep. Yeah, you probably go to sleep really quickly for a short amount of time and then you wake up. And I bet you've experienced that before as well. Also lots of, sugary foods, processed foods. I know if you have, more whole foods in your diet, whole foods, I'm sure you would have heard me talk about whole foods before. They're foods that are in their natural state, like an apple versus a glass of apple juice, for example. So having more quality high foods, whole foods, will give you a better night's sleep. Less processed, more whole foods. Going to bed on a really full tummy, that has a real impact on your health, your health and your sleep as well. I mean, we've all done it. I've done it before. Overeaten and tried to go to sleep and you just feel uncomfortable. Sometimes you even feel nauseous, so you can't sleep. So that can have an impact on your sleep as well. So avoid having a great big meal, 5 minutes before you go to sleep. And this is a biggie because most people do this. They use their iPads or their phones. They watch TV and all of these things, like a crazy movie on TV or something, and then they try and go to sleep 5 minutes later. So if you're really serious about having an effective sleep, you really have to avoid digital products before you go to bed. Now, I know some people say, but I read on my iPad and then I fall asleep. Well, that's great. If you are having a good night's sleep by doing all these things that I'm saying not to do, well, then you don't need to change anything. Yet I'm just saying, if you're not having a good night's sleep, then these are possibly the culprits for it. And another biggie is worrying about your next day. That's a real biggie. So I know a lot of us do it. I don't typically do it much anymore. I used to, but what I found worked really well is, even if that's a real hard task that you need to do, something that you've been putting off, or something that you think you're going to be judged on, or something that's giving you anxiety just thinking about it, write it down. Write it down and write down, how you're going to approach it, or what you think the outcomes might be, or just anything. Just get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. You'll be surprised at how much that alleviates your worry when you go to bed at night. Even things that you might need to do in the morning before you get in the car. Write a list. Just write it down. See what's happening. The sun's coming through. Just write it down, and then you've got the list there, and you can clear that out of your head. I know my husband does that. He sends a text message to himself, so then he doesn't have to think about it when he goes to bed at night. So that's a biggie as well. Just taking a note. Off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of a lot of other things that you can do to have a good night's sleep. One just popped into my head, and exercise. Now, when I say exercise, I don't mean you have to go to the gym. I mean, I'm the last person that does that. But if that's what you do, that's great. I find personally, and all these things that I'm telling you, I've personally experienced. Sleeping tablets. I took one sleeping tablet once, and I was just a zombie for a day and a half. I'd never ever take another sleeping tablet again in my life. But anyway, if you're taking them, that's cool. It's just me. So all these things I've experienced myself. So one thing is the exercise, which I just mentioned. If I'm sitting down all day in the office, I can't sleep at night. Not in your life. Because I've been sitting down all day, excuse me, and I've had no exercise, and I just feel like I've probably been in front of the computer screen all day, and it's just, for me, it's a no-brainer. You cannot be sitting down. Oh, mind you, if you're sleeping well by, sitting down all day in front of a computer screen, that's fantastic for you. My body just doesn't work that way. So if you are finding that you're not sleeping well, and that's one of your jobs, is sitting down in front of the computer all day, then maybe you need to change the way that you do that. Stand up, have some more breaks. I don't know, go for a walk at lunchtime, or do some sort of activity that will assist in your sleeping at night. Smoking, that just popped into my head. Smoking's a good one to try and avoid. I mean, for more than just sleeping, but smoking also, it affects the oxygen in your blood, and it just doesn't make you feel good, and it makes you feel, well, tireder, but not sleep tired, like just lethargic, and yeah. Anyway, that's how I felt when I smoked years ago, years and years ago. So glad I don't anymore. Anyway, so if you're having problems sleeping and you're trying to find some other way, then maybe one of these suggestions that I have made today will assist you in some way, shape, or form. Now, I find too, if I can't sleep, I just sort of do a little meditation, because that brings you back to right now, and it actually helps get rid of all the junk out of your head, even though I've already suggested writing it down and all of that sort of stuff. But sometimes it's still you're still a little bit anxious about it, maybe. So going to bed feeling a little bit anxious doesn't work. So just bringing yourself back to, shut your eyes, just sit up, before, even before you attempt to go to bed, sit in a chair without the TV on, quiet, just have a few deep breaths, getting into a bit more of a relaxed mode, and then, popping into bed may assist you also, because I have done that as well at times. So it does help. Anyways, that's enough about sleep. and I'm really hoping that you do have some good quality sleep. I mean, I don't have a really fantastic sleep every single night, but I do wake up feeling quite refreshed, I guess, most mornings. Sometimes I feel a little bit tired than normal. Just depends on what I've been doing through the day as well. I have very active lifestyle. Sometimes I just want more sleep, but I can't have it. So happy sleeping, and I'll see you all next week.